Hey, HR friends, welcome back. You made it to day three. This is the 2-2 emotional 6.5 day sequence. Here it is. This is the entire 6.5 day sequence. And as always, we start with the electromagnetic polarity points or agitating points. Now, if we go back 24 hours to the previous 24 hours or even the previous 48 hours, you can see that there's been third person agitation, polarity moments elevated. Remember, 4 is the line that we're looking for, and this has been dancing at that 4, 3, and it continues into the first part of day 3. Now, if we come up here to the combined, you can see what I'm talking about. This was red alert time here, okay? Now, at the end of this video, we actually have an incident that we brought out. There was a shooting and we show, and this was something that we predicted. So this doesn't make us happy when we predict conflict. But what does make us happy is preparing as many people as we can so they understand how important it is they stay calm. The more people that we can get invested in staying calm and being aware of these unseen agitations, the less these shootings throughout our societies are going to happen. The less conflict is going to happen in our societies. And believe it or not, when we get a whole bunch of people doing this, it's actually going to pull back the extreme of weather events that we're experiencing right now. That's the other thing. If you've been watching the weather recently, you can see that it's really kicked up during this time. And now coming into Father's Day weekend, it's going to be a beautiful weekend. Well, what a surprise. The electromagnetics are about to lay down and everything's about to get peaceful in the unseen side, at least for a short time. Okay. You can see it's going to start to kick up here again at the end of the week. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to roll down because we've already talked about the electromagnetics. You can see that this is day 3. So these are important. Why? This is what's trying to stop us from achieving the objective. That's where we're going next, is objective. What do I mean when I say objective? Well, in space-time reality, we all coexist, and what we're all supposed to be learning, no matter where we are in life, we're going to have younger people that are immature, and we're going to have older people that are more mature. And that just means you have experience. And then what's supposed to be happening here is it shouldn't matter if it's a mature male talking to an immature male, or a mature male talking to an immature female, or a mature male talking to a mature female. It should be easy. You should be able to communicate with them. You should be able to explain to them where you are in life, how you're trying to balance your routine, and you should be pushing them to balance their routine. What do I mean by balancing routine? You should be dividing your time up equally to make sure in the way that you are providing or interacting in this society, this interconnected experience, that you're doing all those things, that you're taking care of you, that you're helping to take care of your family, that you're helping to take care of your nation, and that's going to end when we all do that with a world that's balanced. Now, if you're not doing that in a routine, and I can tell you there are a lot of people that are out of balance, there are a lot of people that are forgetting about this national and world perspective. And when they're making their individual and family choices, they're not considering what would happen if 8 billion people on the earth all lived the way they did. Well, that's why our nations and our world is struggling so much. We are just showing you how this works. And we are explaining what this is because once you see this, it's going to help you understand why you would want to diversify your routine and balance your routine. Because if your routines aren't diversified and balanced, that means your body isn't going to be balanced, which means it's going to accelerate and have problems in the areas that it's not balanced in. That's how easy this is. So if you have a quadrant problem of the 4 quadrants of the body, these relationships on either side of the color that go with these quadrants tell you exactly what relationships you need to expand and you need to focus on. And when we're talking about these first person perspectives, do not overcomplicate this. We are all part of the same mathematical family, and you are expected to get along with every member of this mathematical family, whether it's a direct influence from your own family, whether it's a coworker, whether it's a stranger on the street. And if you find someone to be less mature or not as balanced, then it's a requirement of you to share your knowledge and share your experience to try to help them. And I promise you, it's not easy. Why? Because of these electromagnetic points and because of the defensive design of our body. This is a challenge, it's a test, and there's a reward if you complete this. But obviously, if there's a reward, then there has to be a challenge or some kind of hurdle that's going to stop you. And that's what this is. These electromagnetic points are literally trying to convince us that we don't have to balance, that we don't have to think about others, and it's just not true. Because if you believe that, and if you buy into that, and if you allow your defensive system of control to dictate your choices or influence your choices, all it does is accelerate aging and guarantees you're going to get some unpleasant disease that's going to make the later parts of your life not as enjoyable. That's how this works. I'm sorry it's that way, but we're here to help. Now, all we need you to do is when you have something unpleasant happen, is just document that and document the area or document the time and document the experience you didn't like. And then we can actually use this space-time technology to know when that test is coming again. And we can help you make those small adjustments in your routine so everything starts to get better, better for your health, better in your relationships. And as we do this as individuals, it's going to start to show in the communities that we engage in. The more people in our communities that start to invest in this strategy and diversify, the better off this is going to get for all of us. That's how this works. All right. So let's move on down here and let's look at the 24-hour guide. So what we have here is the zoomed in 24-hour guide. That's what this is right here of day 3. So that's just showing this whole sequence. And what we've done is we've really brought it into the focus so we can see what's going to happen here. Now, in day 3, when day 3 starts, so the first 12 hours, holy smokes, we bump up to 7. Okay. So really pay attention here. And it's because there's a combined polarity agitation at both the first person level and at the third person level. I really hope that we're not doing a video in the next 24-hour segment that has to do with something unfortunate that happens here, but this is the most likely time in day 3 where the wheels are gonna fall off, okay? Now, for the first 12 hours, high alert everybody. And in the second 12 hours, I'd say it's not quite as high, but there's a lot of first person agitation that's gonna happen here. Now, this chart is synchronized to all 24 time zones. So what you do is you come down here, you find your time zone offset. I'm looking for -4, so that's this guy right here. We hunt and peck. And now I would take a screenshot of this on my phone. I already told you in the last one, and I think I've said this in multiple ones now. I don't take a screenshot of this. Why? Because I have internet. So because I have internet and I've got cell coverage that has internet, this is how I do it. I just come to the Health Reconnected homepage. Here's a live feed right here. You click on the live feed, you give it a hot second to load up, and it shows you exactly where we are in the electromagnetic sequence. And this is set to universal time. You don't have to fumble through the time zone. So if you've got internet, this is the way I'd roll right here. Okay. This is the easiest way. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Now let's get back down here and get back to the electromagnetics. All right. So pretty much one more day of really staying high alert here. Why wouldn't we? Especially because it's Father's Day. Okay. So we're coming into Father's Day here. I hope everybody has a pleasant Father's Day. Let's make it as good as we can. All right. All right. So the next thing we're going to do here now is we're going to talk about these alignments. Now, this is a busy day. This is an active 24 hours of alignments. And let's just look at the colors here so you see what's getting tested. So we've got lower quadrant tests that are coming on the space or first person side. So that's going to be affecting the lower quadrants of the body. And then we've got these green ones over here on the time side. That's going to be affecting upper left quadrant. All right, so let's start over here on the left and we're going to work our way right. And the first one we're going to start is this MP. That's this guy right here. So it's a time alignment. It's 9 hours long. M, 7.5 day frequency. P, 12-hour frequency. This is a strong one. And it's 9 hours long. Now, we haven't had a whole lot going on in the left shoulder. If you remember the last emotional sequence, there wasn't anything here. Yesterday, we said, look at all the stuff that's parked in the left. And we're going to get to that when we look at the macros here in a minute. But I promise you, there are a lot of people that are going to experience this one. Okay. They're going to notice all kinds of things can happen. You could have memory issues, hearing issues, sight issues, throat, nose, all that stuff's on the table. Musculoskeletal stuff from shoulders, elbows, hands. Anxiety, that's a big one. When these greens and yellows hit, that's a lot of the time when we feel that anxious feeling or that uncomfortable feeling. So just really pay attention. And this is going to be such a long alignment. Like if the first 12 hours is a little funky for you, that's what this is right here. This one's going to put a lot of stress. It's a long one, it's a strong one. If this is a direct hit, I mean, this is something you're going to want to work on. And don't you forget, the yellow and the green are the hardest colors because these colors expect us to be more mature and more balanced, and it also expects us to be mentoring other people and talking to other people about their routines. So this is trial by error. I told you this. I am constantly trying to figure out how to connect to all the different people. And because of the defensive system of control in these polarity points, and because of all of our different perspectives, it is challenging. That's what this is. This is a challenge. And remember, if you succeed with this challenge, there's a pretty cool reward. All right. Let's keep moving here. So that was a big one. That's why we spend so much time on it. The next one we're going to talk about is this EE. That happens to be this one right here. Same thing. We're going to go to that upper left quadrant again, and this is a big one. Now, if you're wondering what these two are about, these are national perspectives and they're balanced national perspectives. So if you have hits here, this has to do with you not contributing enough to your nation in a balanced way. I'm sorry, that's just how that works. So if you have hits here, we're definitely going to want to bring more of a national approach into your routine if you're having problems in those areas. All right, let's keep moving here. So now we're going to do the EE over here on the space side. This is an hour and a half alignment. This one's going to affect the lower left quadrant. The capital E, that's a 6.5 day frequency. The small E, that's a 3.5 hour frequency. This is pretty strong. Okay, now look it's on top of this one. So there's two that are going to be happening here, right? This EE and this EE, but they're both going to be on the left side of the body. So don't be surprised if that mid part of your back into your shoulders and your low back starts to tighten up as these two hit together. Okay. All right, let's keep moving here. So now we're going to move up and we're going to do this MP. All right. So that's this guy right here. That's 6 hours. The M, that's a year frequency. P, that's a 12 frequency. Between these two, I expect people to feel more again on the left side. All right. So this left side is really getting tested today. You can start to see that. All right. Let's do the ME now. That's this one right here. Same thing. M, year frequency. E, 3.5 hour frequency. This is an hour and a half. These two are going to come together. And these are strong. I'm sorry for Father's Day. This is just strong stuff. Unfortunate timing here as far as that holiday, but there are going to be a lot of people that are going to have some digestive issues, lower problems in their quadrants, musculoskeletal issues with joints. If you're out of balance in these, you're going to notice it. Ain't no doubt about it. Again, left lower quadrant definitely more probable than right lower quadrant just because these M's are so much stronger. All right, we're almost there. So here's our last one we're going to talk about. It's this PE. It's this 1.5 hour, 1.5 hours here. This is going to affect the right lower quadrant. Now, imagine, right? The time bar is going to run through here. These are all happening at the same time. So even though this one's not so strong, it's going to affect the right side. And then don't forget, these two strong alignments are also going to affect the right side. So right and left lower back, that's on the table in the second 12 hours. And in the first 12 hours, expect left upper quadrant. That's how that's going to work. All right, let's get down here. We're going to look at macro position now. So they really shifted around on us again, right? So let's just take a look at the left side first. So on the left, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And you see, I kind of had to squeeze them in here. There were so many of them. And then we've got 5, 6. So we've got 6 on the left side. We've got 4 on the right side. And then let's just look top to bottom here as well. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the lower quadrants. So everything that we just predicted up here on the alignments is going to be repeated down here. These are the areas of the body that you can expect to feel it. And what you're going to want to do is look at this guide. If you take the picture and you have it on your phone, or better yet, use the live feed, it'll show you right where we are on this sequence so you can see when there's going to be higher testing, lower testing. Really, the only thing you don't have to really worry about is right upper quadrant in this 24-hour segment, okay? Everything else, though, getting tested pretty heavy here. So that's pretty good predictions. If I was in practice, lots of low back stuff, definitely more on the left side, and you're going to see some shoulder and left upper quadrant stuff for sure in this 24 hours. All right, so let's end out like this. Now, I mentioned this up there just a little bit. So there was a shooting during day 2, right in here. And this is unfortunate. I don't like it when this happens, but I'm going to keep broadcasting this because we want to limit how much this happens. And the more people that understand how important it is to know when this unseen electromagnetic agitations are happening, the better things are going to get for us. Definitely take time to check this one out. And the goal is here, let's get some more people seeing this video. If you know people that could, benefit from this, maybe they're a little short with their temper or they're having health problems, that's pretty much all of us. Let's get them in here. Start sharing the news here. That's what I'm trying to say to you. All right. That's a good place to stop for today. When you get down here, you can see we got a bunch of videos now. You can scroll through this and see them all. You take the time to do that. I hope everybody has a nice Father's Day, and we'll see you in the next 24-hour post. Talk to you then.